Hey friends, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel, and legendary Ozzy Osbourne guitarist Jake E. Lee has been in the news again lately. Now everybody's talking about the fact that Jake E. Lee kind of reunited with Ozzy on this big Back to the Beginning concert that happened recently. And although I'm going to touch on that briefly, that's not really what this video is about. What I really want to talk about is the follow-up to Jake E. Lee being shot in Las Vegas last year. Now, you guys probably remember this. I did a couple of videos on it. And yeah, Jake E. Lee was basically out walking his dog in his, around his neighborhood in Las Vegas. And he came upon some people who were like messing with a motorcycle. He tried to intervene, and he ended up getting shot. And obviously, he did not die, but he was pretty severely injured. Unfortunately, he made a full recovery and he's back to playing guitar now. But the big news is that the suspects in that shooting have been caught, and they have been tied to 2 previous very serious crimes. Okay guys, so we're going to go over all the details here. The Jake E. Lee story just gets more and more interesting as time goes by. But of course, guys, real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, checking out cool new guitars and staying up on all the latest news in the guitar universe, and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Okay, so I've got a couple of articles up here from guitar.com, and real quick, I just want to go over the other piece of news just briefly here, talking about the fact that Jake E. Lee reunited with Ozzy and performed with him at the Back to the Beginning show that happened. And it's crazy because despite Jake E. Lee being a really key member of the Ozzy band back in the day and being involved in some of the most legendary Ozzy, writing some of the most legendary Ozzy songs, Jake E. Lee and Ozzy have not spoken in decades. So let's just take a look at this right here. So it says, why Jake E. Lee agreed to perform at Black Sabbath's final show, even though he hasn't spoken with Ozzy Osbourne or seen him in decades. Okay, it says here, Black Sabbath's long-awaited farewell show just around the corner at the time of writing. Former Ozzy Osbourne guitarist Jake E. Lee has opened up about why he agreed to take part despite not having spoken to the Prince of Darkness in decades. Speaking in the latest issue of Guitar World, Lee reveals that it wasn't Ozzy who reached out directly, but Rage Against the Machine's Tom Morello, who's serving as musical director for the all-star Back to the Beginning event. He said, Tom Morello called me. There's going to be a thing, an original Black Sabbath performance and Ozzy Osbourne's final performance. I can't see this going on without Jake E. Lee in there somewhere, he recalls. He says, it's a thrill to be a part of it, and even more so for me to watch it. I hope Ozzy can get through it. I haven't spoken with him or seen him in decades. I really don't know what condition he's in, but he deserves a final farewell performance. No matter how he is or how well his singing is, he deserves to have that final farewell. I'm happy to be a part of it. Okay, so it was Tom Morello's idea. It wasn't Ozzy's, and it wasn't even Sharon's idea, but Tom Morello, who was, kind of putting the whole thing together. Now, there were some other people that were not in the show. The show has happened now. There were some people that I wish they had included. I wish Gus G had been there. Obviously, because he came around later in Ozzy's career, I feel like he's kind of overlooked sometimes, but he was still in the band as the lead guitar player for 8 years, which is a long time. But obviously, Zakk Wylde was there, and Jake E. Lee was there, and I mean, you can't have Randy Rhoads, unfortunately, but there were, many other people who had played with him over the years involved in that show. But overall, from what I can tell, the show was a big success. But anyway, let's move on from that. We got to talk about this other thing with Jake E. Lee. Now, this is just fascinating stuff, right? So here's the other article I want to share with you. This is the quote here. The gun that was used to shoot Jake E. Lee, the gun was tied to 2 previous murders. Jake E. Lee shares shocking update about his shooting. Okay, Jake E. Lee has shared a shocking update. Yes, we got that. Okay, the 68-year-old guitarist, hard to believe, I know, best known for his tenure with Ozzy between 82 and 87, previously revealed that he was shot multiple times while walking his dog in Las Vegas. Now, in a Facebook post shared last week, Lee says that justice is on the horizon. The two that shot me have been caught and face sentencing next month, he writes. The gun was tied to two previous murders, so my case is almost an afterthought. They're going bye-bye for a long time. On that happy thought, see you on TV. And of course, he's talking about the upcoming Black Sabbath show. The Facebook post includes a picture of Lee's dog, Coco, who was with him during the incident and reportedly targeted in the attack. According to the guitarist, the gunman fired 15 shots, with some aimed at Coco. Lee was struck 3 times, with one bullet narrowly missing his spine. From my understanding, they were standing fairly close together. You know, on top of being just a terrible person, this person is also a really bad shot. 15 shots and you only land 3 of them. And Jake E. Lee still, you know, he still lived and he doesn't even have any permanent damage. So it's, I mean, obviously I'm getting sidetracked here. That's not the point, but terrible marksmanship. Anyway, it goes on here. It says, elsewhere in the post, the musician also confirms his upcoming appearance at Black Sabbath's final show in Birmingham. Just confirming I'm playing. In fact, I believe I'll be first at bat, which means Coco has to be up at 7 a.m. to watch Pop. So anyway, after all this stuff, both Jake E. Lee and his dog Coco pulled through without any problems. But think about this. I mean, think about how close Jake E. Lee came to being potentially the third person that was murdered by this gunman here. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Now, I did a little further digging on this, and one of the previous murders, it was in Vegas, and it was actually a guy that was a performer at one of the casinos there, because this guy was over 8 feet tall. You can kind of say the gunman was a killer of giants. But seriously, I'm glad Jake E. Lee is okay. I'm glad these people have been caught. And I'm glad that Jake also got to play in the big Black Sabbath show on that massive stage. He deserves it. I always loved his stuff in Ozzy, Badlands, of course, and even Red Dragon Cartel later on. Fantastic guitar work. But look, I guess that's all just part of the rock and roll lifestyle. You might be out there on tour in front of tens of thousands of screaming fans, and you might get shot when you're out walking your dog. But in the end, hopefully, it all works out. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think about all this stuff down in the comments section below. And guys, I will have links to the original articles I was checking out here down in the video description below, as well as links for my social media and my YouTube course and instructional programs, all that stuff down in the video description. Okay guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you very soon.